In this video, we're putting together a Wall Street click pen with a blank I kind of call blue ice. It's a real dark blue blank with wisps of light white, almost like an ice that you'd see on a lake. So it's a pretty cut and dry pen. There's a bushing for the nib on the bottom, the click at the top. Really the only two assembly push type items that you put on the pen. The blank or the tube is a single tube, so we speed it up, get it marked off and squared off, and get it to the bandsaw to get it cut. It actually cut it about in half. I have another blank that I could use for another Wall Street pen, either a click or a twist, but cut very nice. And then start putting together. You see me sizing it up and then deciding which blank I want to use. I kind of used the one that had a little more of the white wisps in it. I just think it looked really nice. Center punched it and get it on the drill press. We're kind of speeding everything up a little bit. I always know if the blank is going to be good by how it drills. Will it walk up the flute? Does it get powdery? If it gets powdery, it's a problem. If it stays in ribbons, it's good. This one was very smooth. Drilled right in, no problems. I can tell that the turning is going to be good on this blank. No chips on the bottom. Everything turned out good. So we'll get the tube glued using epoxy as usual. Make sure the tube fits in there. And then we'll rough it up with some sandpaper. I think it's 400 on the grit. But get the tube roughed up. And then we'll start mixing the epoxy. I always use a scale, half and half. I usually try 8 or 9 grams of each. There's 8 grams. And then the other one goes to 16. And then start mixing it up. I tend to do it to give myself the best chance of success. It probably would be fine with a gram or 2 either way. But again, I just want to give myself the best chance for success. So we mix it up with the popsicle stick and use the punch to kind of align it, get it into the blank, goop it up. I tend to put a little more on the end, and then scrape the epoxy off. Take some denatured alcohol on the cloth, wipe it off, make sure there's nothing in the tube, then get the punch wiped off. And then we wait. It's 5-minute epoxy. It will change in color. You'll see it go to a dark yellow. It'll also heat up to where you can't touch the cup with the epoxy in it. So I always wait until it cools down much later. I always give it a lot more than 5 minutes, and I usually wait till the next day just to make sure. It's kind of hot and humid in Texas, so I want to ensure that the setup is good. There's no rush to it, so we'll do it tomorrow. And here you can see the cup, you can smack it and you kind of know when it's done, certainly when it's real cool to the touch. And then bring it over to the disc sander and just sand it down until the tube, you see brass all the way around the tube. Just get it touched. You don't want to go past it, and then you start getting the pin itself out of whack and it doesn't want to fit well. The blank itself, I use a carbide tip on it with a semi-radius, and it went very, very well. It comes off in ribbons, no chunking, and it's smoothed out very well. Easy blank to turn, very easy. Worked its way down. Here you can see where it gets round, it really starts getting ribbons off of it. The blank was really good, and you can even see now that the color of it is coming out quite well. And finishing up, just getting it squared at the ends on the bushings, and then start sanding. And I started with 400. The blank itself, after the carbide tool, it was really smooth, so there wasn't really any need to use a coarser grit. And as you can see, it was very smooth. There was no valleys or peaks on it. And then I finished up with 600 denatured alcohol to get all the dust off of it. Always after sanding, micromeshing or sandpaper, I always go horizontally with it, take out any lines that are there. And then I put a towel down to protect the lathe. I keep my micromesh in water. Every time I use it, I rinse the pads and then put fresh water in. But I go through the pads one by one, and you can see the color is really starting to come out now, just with the pads. Then I'll put some friction polish on it. I think I put 3 coats on this, and you can see the color is coming out. This was really a nice blank. Finishing up polishing, making sure I get a good friction on it to get that color out. Color really looks good. Then we'll take it over and we'll put it together. Pretty cut and dried putting it together. Again, you have the nib where it screws into the bushing, and I want to position, see which side I want where, which end I want where, and then the bushing goes in. Must have been a little something on it. And then just put it into the press, line it up, and it goes in very nicely. Next one is the end of the clicker. Make sure that I'm sized right. I don't want to press the nib when I go to put the top in, so I take it off. So all I'm dealing with is the blank. I get a piece of blue painter's tape. I want to put on the click to protect it, just in case if it pushes in the click in the clip itself. I don't want to drag on the blank to scratch it or anything. Might not be able to see it, but at least I know it's there. But sizing it up, seeing where I want the pattern to be. And I think we're right about there. Kind of square it up into the blank. And then I made a piece of wood, and I drilled a hole to where it fits on the shoulder and stays away from the clicker itself. If you get any pressure on that clicker and get it cockeyed or get it bound a little bit, it's just not going to work very well at all. So I always be careful squaring it and lining it, and you can see it just goes right in very nicely. Take the painter's tape off of the clip to get it out, and then the refill goes in. Make sure that you line it up, it'll fall into the slot, so to speak, and you'll know it's there. Then the nib just screws right on rather easily. And then make sure it's free. Very nice. Little protector on the end. And operation of it was very smooth. It's really a nice blank. It came out very, very nice. I was very pleased with it. So the wisps of white, I think, added a nice accent to it. And again, it turned out very nice. So I appreciate everybody watching. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. More videos to come. This one was a lot of fun and turned out very nice. So please keep in touch.